Get straight to the business of the day. My guest this morning is a legal practitioner, is Mr. Richarmond or NATHA-ALADE, the executive partner, son NATHA-ALADE and partners. Good morning. Always a pleasure to have you on the program.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. What is a bill?
A bill is a document containing a proposed law which are normally sent to either State's House of Assembly for passage or to the National Assembly for passage into law.
All right. What had, the processes involved in passing a bill into law?
The passage,
the state or the
yes,
federal.
The passage of bills into law at the state level is quite slightly different from that of national.
Okay.
At the state level we operate the unicameral legislature. That is, one legislative chamber is in play. While at the national level there is a bicameral legislature. And before I go into the procedure for passage of bill, I must say that there are categories of bills. There are types of bills that are introduced into either the lower chamber of the National Assembly or the upper chamber of the National Assembly, as well as that of different states of the Federation. And part of that is we have the members' bill, the bill that is sponsored by members of any of the of the House, either Senate, House of Reps, or the State House of Assembly. Then we have the one also passed by, we call it by private bills. That is, any part of the public, any member of the public can forward such bill if you feel like these are good things that should be legislated upon by the Federal Republic of Nigeria or by the state governments. Then that is a private bill. Then we have the executive bills. The executive bills are always introduced by the Executive Council of either the states or federal governments. So those are three forms of passage of bills. And now, going back to your questions, I will say that there are stages in passage of bill. And part of the stages in passage of bill, number one, we have the first reading, the second reading, the committee stage, the third reading. If it has to do with the National Assembly, then we have the joint conference committee stage before,
the House of Rep members,
and the Senate together. Then we have the final stage, which is a signing after it is after it is passed by the House. So those are category. Yes. So those are procedures for passage of bill. And in coming to the floors of the House to say that you want to pass a bill, when the bill undergoes first reading, it simply means that the clerk of the House, through whom that bill is sent, either to the Speaker of House of Representatives or to the President of the Senate or to the Speaker of various House of level, the clerk of the House come forward and introduce that bill and tell them this is what is on the floor. So it's upon that there will be debate after that. The debate stage is the second reading, of which the person who is introducing the bill, either the Executive Council or a private individual or members of the House of Assembly or the legislature, comes and give the nitty-gritties of that particular law. So at that stage, after he has given everything, it is subject to debate. Then it is debated, of which after the debate, it is referenced to a committee at that level to look into that law. So it is the committee state that will look at it, what is the do these laws purport, and what are they trying to achieve with this law. They make the observation, and if there are recommendations and anything passed, that is at the committee stage is the public hearing stage, where the members of public can also contribute. So they are invited, yes. So after the invitation and they look at it, there are recommendations, then they forward their recommendation to the assembly for third reading, of which during that third reading procedure, then they look at it, what and what should we add, what and what should we remove. Then after the third reading, then it is passed into law before it is sent to the president for assent. And that is just the simple procedure, yes, for passage of law, of bill into law, yes.
Bill into law in Nigeria. Okay, let's quickly talk about the water resources bill. I'm sure you've read about and you know about the controversy surrounding it. That will be regarded as an executive bill.
Yes, it's an executive
bill.
Yes.
And from the information gathered, it was said that during the last assembly, the bill was sent into the House. It scaled through the House of Representatives. But unfortunately, when it got to the Senate, we heard from some quarter that it was set aside. That after the election, it will be looked into. Unfortunately, some members of the H Assembly didn't return, and the executive felt we need to return this bill into the House. There was another quarter that says it was a complete rejection from the Senate. But now, the criticism surrounding this bill is that the federal government is trying to own all the waters in the country. I want your opinion on the water resource bill.
Well, the issue of water resources is on the concurrent list, and except the one that is on the state exclusive list, I mean the federal exclusive list, which is contained in the Schedule 2 and the Part 1 of the Constitution of Nigeria, by item 64 on that list of the federal exclusive list, it is stated therein that all waters connecting states and highways are all belonging to the federal government, and they can make regulations on such water, and so it is. But on the state exclusive list, I mean on the concurrent list, particularly Part 2, which is also in the second schedule, it lists under item 13C of that list that the federal government can make laws in regulation of water and usage of water, both the surface water and that of underneath of water. So I wouldn't know, maybe it's on that ground that they derive their power to, I believe it's on that ground they derive their power to introduce the water resources bill into the National Assembly for passage. And well, I want to say that there are several rumors, and going by what I know, I learned as at the time the bills automatically, you should know that once another news section or another people comes on board, automatically the bills will be revisited.
Some of the critiques around it is that now it has been named the Water Resources Bill 2020, saying that if it is a continuation, there shouldn't have been, some form of modification that makes it seem like it's a new bill that is being passed.
Well, I don't want to. Well, I was saying the other time, there are controversies surrounding that bill, and part of the controversy was that yes, it was jettisoned, and some people said it wasn't jettisoned; it was at the committee stage. And most of the people who constitute that committee are no longer in the Senate and are no longer in the National Assembly. Therefore, automatically, it has to be revisited. So I wouldn't know if it's coming in as a new bill. If it's coming in as a new bill, then maybe it should have been occasioned by the two stages be overtaken by event. By number one, the people who debated it are no longer the people who are there. The people who conducted the public hearing are no longer the people who are there. And if there are any of them that were there as at then, now I think majority of the people there now are new. So automatically the process have to start afresh, so that anybody there will have to have the full and final grasp of what the content of that bill is and what it's all about, to allay all suspicions.
It's a Fresh 105.9 FM. We're going on a quick break. Do not touch that dial.
Fresh 105.9 FM, your feel-good radio. Dangote is back again with Dangote Bag of Goodies Season 2 spell and be a millionaire.
Ṣé máa sọ̀rọ̀ pa content bí o? Ẹ máa sọ̀rọ̀ pa content o. Kí ló wà nínú ẹ̀? Because existing laws to regulate waters tẹ́lẹ̀, so why is this coming and what difference is it?
You know my country tower now. You know my country tower now. Everybody is living under suspicion. Why she come by suspicion?
will be great for you. It's the Coca Season Sales ending on the 9th of October 2020. Save money prices of genuine products on Conga.com or any Conga retail store nationwide.
And I know somebody that came. Tasty, nourishing breakfast of Kellogg's cereal. Goodness of fruits and 11 essential vitamins and minerals.
Remember, there's a law of transport that says this also think about you. Who is that?
Use Oral-B 2-in-1 toothpaste for stronger, healthy teeth and long-lasting fresh breath.
ShopRite more low price buy this thing that shallow. And they will help us to save more money. So go fit full our trolley with everything we need. Things like 2 1-liter hypo bleach for 1,199 naira 99 kobo and 2 725 ml hypo toilet cleaner for 1,699 naira 99 kobo. All this price go last till October 4, 2020. ShopRite. Fashion price when you fit trust all the time.
Honey, must you go?
Okay, I'm coming in. Okay, I'm coming in.
What
It's
if your
my
battery
sign
runs
out.
out?
No, and one second. Next man will be
And when your
3
power bank
minutes.
runs out?
3 minutes.
Minutes.
Okay, wait. What if your data
Okay,
runs
yeah.
out?
Never run out of data with
Today.
Airtel Home Broadband Unlimited
Today.
Ultra plans. Enjoy unlimited data with no speed cap plus extra data daily, so you never have to worry about running out. Visit www.airtel.com.ng/HBB.
Hey, stop. Who talk say we must go back to how things we did before safe? What if now me and you fit change everything?
I'm only
What if all of us agree today open and talk say I go to stay far from bad energy?
I no go ever talk say my handwork no make sense again. See, I no go think about it. I no fit change again.
I go always get time for my party day.
We go make am if only we choose to stay open like never before.
Ready to be open? Coca-Cola.
Welcome back. I still have Mr. Richarmond NATHA-ALADE right here on the law. And yes, we're talking about bill passage in our country. Of course, making special reference to the Water Resources Bill 2020. My next question would actually be about the context of the Water Resources Bill. Knowing that we have other laws that take care of our waters, the Water Resource Act, the River Basin Development Authority Act, the Hydrological Service Agency Act, the Water Resources Institute Act, among others, or just those 4. Okay, there is none of that. But what is the Water Resources Act Bill 2020 bringing that all these laws do not have in them?
Well, I want to believe that going by the word of Lai Mohammed and the Minister for
Because he said there's
yes,
nothing new. in
the
bill,
minister, yes,
actually.
the Minister for Information. According to him, he said that the bill is to annex and harmonize all laws relating to water resources in the country. I want to believe that's it. But if it's for that purpose, I think it's fine. And at the same time, we are in a country where suspicion is the order of the day. No matter how beautiful what you are bringing to the table is, the people felt that this may not benefit them with race and highbrow, and which is normal. By the content of that bill, which is meant to be an harmonized instrument on water resources, I want to say that part of the provision is to grant to establish a body which will regulate the use of water and as well as grant license to anybody sinking borehole or drilling well, or digging well within his premises. And part of those provision also is to give, which is the main operating words in the bill, is that all surface water and groundwater, wherever it occurs, is a resource common to all people. That is, anybody within the Nigeria entity can have access to the use of water anywhere, anytime, at anyhow.
Does that not
As
answer
long,
the question
yes,
of Ruga? Because a lot of people felt that part of why the government is insisting on passing this bill into law is because of the Rugal settlement, and that it would afford the heirs to be able to have access to water for the use of their work.
Yes, one thing we must also appreciate is the fact that there is an existing law, which is the Land Use Act, which vests all lands in every of the states of the Federation in the governor of that state, except the Federal Capital Territory, which is vested in the federal government. And before you can make use of any land, automatically the consent of the state governor must be sought. And that is what brings about the right of occupancy, statutory right of occupancy, and so many other instruments under the law by which we seek permits with the state government. And so I don't want to believe that Ruga we succeed, because at the end of it all, the provision of the section the provision of the provision of the Land Use Act and that of the Water Resources Act, if eventually passed, we have to be put side by side by the and subject to interpretation by the courts.
Are you aware that the likes of Wole Soyinka had condemned that bill and warned Mr. President against it?
Yes, I am aware that Professor Wole Soyinka did. And at the same time, he has his reasons. And part of the reason is that at least if water resources is vested in the federal government and subject to the regulatory body under the supervision of the federal government, then automatically it gives the federal government the say on who uses water and how you use your water. And there are several other
Wouldn't it be too complex? Like all the other cases that we need to, or other situations where for you to sort approval, you still need to go through the federal government. Why can't states manage its own resources?
We are over centralizing powers, and that is the problem of Nigeria. And the more we centralize that power, the more the institution becomes weakens. Because if
this is one of it, whereby the federal government.
Yes, I also have my reservation on such bill, because all states should have access and control over their resources, not even when it is contained in the concurrent list. If it's contained in the concurrent list, and part of the conflict that may arise is the fact that any state law that is inconsistent with the federal laws is void to the extent of its consistency. The federal laws will take prominence over state laws. And the Constitution now, if placed side by side with the provision of Ruga and whatever the law the state may want to enact to protect its own resources too, then somehow, some way, if it's in conflict with the Water Resources Bill, which is being proposed, then automatically that of the federal will take precedence. And so that is the conflict we are trying to avoid in a way. And if you are not placing or indirectly placing the control and management of water in the federal government, then automatically there's no how there will not be conflict. And if there is conflict, then people who are affected will raise eyebrow, and they will tell you that this thing doesn't favor them, and therefore it should be restricted.
This is much we can take on the program this morning. Thank you so much for coming. Mr. Richarmond NATHA-ALADE is a legal practitioner and the executive partner of NATHA-ALADE and Partners.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And that's the program for today. Hello, my name is Abimbola Olu, my studio managers, both of them. I'm leaving. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. It's been great working with you guys.
Fresh 105.9 FM. Your feel good radio.